if we just haphazardly say prayer and then wonder why we didn't hear any more from God, or why He didn't answer the prayer, chances are we prayed with wrong motives, or we prayed with deliberate sin in our lives, or there's a number of reasons why God doesn't answer prayer. Maybe it wasn't His will. Maybe God said no, and instead of taking away the problem or giving you the solution that you think would be great for the problem, you have to wait a while. And that's what God says, even when Paul, the apostle, uh, asked God to take away his thorn in the flesh. God didn't take it away, but instead He said, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." So God gives the grace to live with the thorn if we have to, but not to have it master us. I'm sorry. So, hey, Faisal. So God does not necessarily take away our problems right away, but if He doesn't, He gives us the grace to be able to go through them. And as you know, grace is undeserved, unmerited favor. So this is what Jesus is talking about in Luke chapter 18. It's about persistence in prayer. It says in verse 1, "Then Jesus told His disciples a parable to show them that they should always pray and not give up." So, uh, I don't know what you mean, EID Mubarak. Um, to pray and not give up. So, he gives us an example, and that's what a parable is. It's an example we can relate to, but it has a heavenly meaning tied to it. So this is what Jesus said in verse 2. "In a certain town there was a judge who neither feared God nor cared about men." So this was, as some Bibles call it, the unjust judge. "And there was a widow in that town who kept coming to him with a plea: 'Grant me justice against my adversary.'" So for some reason, this woman had an enemy who was either threatening her or bothering her in some way. Hello, Waldemar Cruz. And so for some time he refused. She kept coming to him, and for some time, it might have been a long time even, he refused. But finally he said to himself, "Even though I don't fear God or care about men, yet because this widow keeps bothering me, I will see that she gets justice so that she won't eventually wear me out with her coming." So even the unjust judge who didn't fear God, didn't really care about people, and this person was bothering, uh, this widow was bothering him to grant her justice. And so finally he got tired of hearing from her, and he said, "Oh, okay, I'll give her what she wants just so that she doesn't overwhelm me or doesn't wear me out," is what the wording was. But this is the parable that Jesus used to teach us this. Verse 6, Matthew 18, verse 6. "And the Lord said, 'Listen to what the unjust judge says. And will not God bring about justice for His chosen ones who cry out to Him day and night? Will He keep putting them off?'" You see, we have a God who is not an unjust judge. God wants to help us. God, I think, even enjoys when we bring our needs to Him, knowing that He's a good God and that He answers prayer. So, will not God bring about justice for His chosen ones who cry out to Him day and night? And again, I use the example, have we ever cried out to God, let alone cried out to God day and night? When Jesus was in the garden and felt overwhelmed by the circumstances, he cried out to God, and he prayed so intensely that drops of blood came from his pores. And that is scientifically possible as well. So, how many times have we prayed that hard, crying out to God day and night? Probably not very many, maybe none for some of us. Anyway, will he keep putting them off if this is the way we come to God? I tell you, Jesus said, he will see that they get justice quickly. Now here's the kicker. I mean, here's the bad news. Here's the sum up of this parable. Jesus says, however, when the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on the earth? When Jesus comes back, will he even find faith on the earth? I think when Jesus talks about the end times in other places, he talks about the increase of wickedness, the love of most growing cold. People are more self-centered now. People are more involved in their own lives. They don't care about other people so much as maybe people used to. It's kind of sad, especially for older people, to remember how good it used to be. We never locked our doors at night. We didn't have to worry if our windows were left open for air to blow in. This is before air conditioners. We didn't worry about people coming through the bedroom windows while we were asleep and robbing us. I mean, it was just a different world. And you can see over the decades, it has gone downhill drastically. People are more self-centered. People are less interested in helping their neighbors. You know, you hear stories of people getting raped on the subway and everybody just standing around watching. You know, the bystanders. It's a horrible time to live in those ways. And I think that's what Jesus meant when he says, however, when the Son of Man comes, will he find faith on the earth? Will there be anybody left who has faith? Between the worldliness, between the sin with false teachers and false doctrines that reign, and people can't find Jesus because they don't even know where to look. Even if they go to church, sometimes they can't find Jesus. So it's just a sad time in which we live, and we need to realize that before the Lord returns, because he says when the Son of Man comes, he's coming back, when the Lord returns, he probably won't find much faith on the earth. He used those words himself, but he used them in the conclusion of the parable of the persistent widow. We have to have enough faith that when we take something to God, we trust that God is going to answer. I say there's no power in prayer, but rather there's power in the God who answers prayer. So if we bring our needs before him and we don't get an answer immediately, do we just give up praying? Do we move on? Or do we keep praying like the persistent widow? This is what Jesus says. Will not God bring about justice for his chosen ones who cry out to him day and night? Will he keep putting them off? I tell you, he will see that they get justice, and quickly. That's God's desire, to give justice and to give quickly. Sometimes I think God's testing our faith because Jesus said when he comes back, will he find faith? So I think that Jesus is equating the reason why God doesn't answer prayer to lack of faith. Jesus couldn't do many miracles in his own hometown, Nazareth, not because he didn't have the power to do it, but because they didn't believe that he could or would. They thought he was the carpenter's son. They said, is this son of Mary and Joseph? Uh, we watched him grow up. Some of his babysitters here changed his diapers or whatever they had at the time. So it's just sad, I think, that people are losing hope, losing faith, losing God, losing church, losing morality. Whenever people walk away from their Maker, I guarantee you the enemy is ready to rush right in, step right in, because that's actually what he's been trying to get people to do over the centuries. Turn away from God so that they can turn to him. And Satan is the one in control of the air, this world. So he's doing a fine job in discouraging people, or even causing people to believe he doesn't exist. If he doesn't exist, then you don't have to worry about God. God doesn't exist either. You don't have to worry about accountability. You can do whatever pleases you, whatever makes you feel good. Even John Lennon, before he died, wrote a song, whatever gets you through the night, it's all right, it's all right. Just anything goes, whatever you like, it's all right. So we've kind of lost touch completely with the Maker, and we were made in His image. We were created in His image. And so there's a part of us that needs a relationship with that which created us. There's a part of us that will forever have this empty space within us until we find that only thing that can fill it up. And that, of course, is the Father, the spiritual part of us that's dead until the Lord comes in and wakes it up. Abraham and his son's story. So we just want to be sure that when Jesus comes back, we will have, some of us will still be having faith. I hope that's one of you. I hope that you will grow your faith, build your faith, instead of watch it fade away like the rest of society. Uh, Churches used to be full, and I'm not saying that that was a good time either, because I think a lot of people were going probably not for the Lord, I'm sorry to say, but they were going out of duty or obligation. They were going because it looked holy, with stained glass windows and high ceilings and pillars on the outside, and it was just breathtaking. The kind of cathedrals that they built over in Europe, and it's just not necessary. It's all a whole lot of glitz and glamour. God doesn't dwell in a building anymore. He used to dwell in the temple, but now the dwelling place of God is with His people. God chooses to live inside of people and not a building. So we don't need to build major cathedrals to honor Him to His glory. Yeah, it looks pretty and everything, but sure does cost a lot of money. I was in Madrid uh, several years ago now, and they wanted to show me that grand church that they were building. And they started that, I forget, 400 years ago. I don't mean to make light of it, but I'm thinking, what a waste. It was my opinion. Turned into a museum. It's a monument. People can go in and be breathtaking about how the light filters down through the building and puts different colors on the walls, and it's just a marvel to see. And they charge money to go into the church and look, and they're only going to use it for special occasions if the Pope would happen to come. So I'm just wondering, how do we get off target here? People used to go to church to worship God, not to be admiring a landscape, a building, spires and towers, and pretty bells and candles and incense. That's I don't want to sit here in judgment and say it's wrong, but I do believe that it's not necessary. I think there's much better ways to spend money, like giving to the poor, and not to build prettier buildings. Anyway, that's my soapbox. So I I guess I get on that from time to time. I don't mean to, but Jesus says if we just keep persisting with God by faith, that our needs will be met, because He wants to see that we get justice, and He wants to do it quickly. So sharpen your faith, put it that way. Sharpen your faith before you go to God in prayer. And then when you go, have faith to believe that He hears you, He loves you, He cares about your needs. And if you prayed about it once, twice, 3 or 30, 40, 100 times, and God still hasn't answered, but it's His will for that to take place, you just need patience. God might be teaching you something in the meantime. Maybe He's teaching you patience. Or maybe He's teaching you perseverance, persistence like this widow who needed justice. So don't lose heart, don't give up, don't throw in the towel. God cares, God loves you, and God will answer your prayers one way or another. You can be sure of that. Okay, folks, I'm just going to go ahead and go. I'm not feeling really well today, but I did want to be consistent here with doing this around 4 o'clock. And if it benefits somebody, great. It was worth it. And I'm just in a lot of pain. I've told you that before. I got pains in my back, pains in my hips, pains in my legs, pains in my feet. So I got doctor's appointments coming up to get these things looked into, and so I'm hoping to be a better, more alert, happier person. And I know our joy in the Lord does not depend on our circumstances. And I'm really not fretting. I'm just weary of pain. And I took ibuprofen first thing in the morning and just now took some uh, acetaminophen. Yeah, acetaminophen. So that's what I got for today. So you all have a great day. God bless and take care.